Okay, now that the dust is sort of settled on American Idol season 10, a few thoughts. Admittedly, I never really got into American Idol until this past season, season 10. And I was actually quite impressed with the talent, especially when it got down to like the final, 24. But I was kind of on the impression going in that American Idol was actually a talent contest for singers, and the person that would win would be the most talented singer or performer, singer slash performer. And um, as I started watching it and kind of got into it a little bit, and I went in to vote for the first time. I never voted on American Idol, but went in for the first time to vote, and I actually voted the first time for Pia Toscano. And at that point, it was kind of obvious that Pia was sort of in a category all by herself, and then there was the rest of the American Idol contestants. Because every week she would just come out and she would just kick ass, and then the other contestants would do their thing. Not that they weren't the other contestants weren't extremely talented. Um, but when I first went in to vote for Pia, to my surprise, I found out that one person could vote many times for the same contestant. And I thought, well, this is kind of, stupid, or ridiculous or insane or whatever word you want to use, because that doesn't make it a talent competition. That makes it pretty much whoever can, has enough, a large enough group of fans that are willing to sit in front of their computer or their cell phone for, I think you're allowed to vote for 2 hours after after the show is over with. Uh, so it's about what contestant can have the most fans willing to sit in front of the computer and just vote over and over and over and over again. I think I saw a couple things on YouTube where one lady was bragging about how she voted 500 times for one contestant. Then a friend of hers voted 500 times for the same contestant. Then another friend voted 500 times for the same contestant. That's just ridiculous, insane. And every week, Ryan Seacrest would come on and brag about, oh, we have 50 million votes, 70 million votes, and I think in the finale there was like 122 million, and he comes out and brags about this, but that's kind of smoke and mirrors, because it's not really 122 votes. It's I don't know how many people actually vote, but they're voting over and over and over again the same people. So it's not really a true talent competition in that sense. I mean, one person should have one vote, and that's it. End of story. But anyway, getting back to Pia, uh, when it got down to like the final six, I think that's where Pia got voted off. It was just real obvious that every week Pia would just come out and kick ass, and then there was Pia, and then there was the rest of the idols doing their thing. And like I said, the rest of them were extremely talented, but everybody, I think, just kind of assumed that P was going to win this thing. That it was pretty much her deal, her show. Um, and when you think about the fact that American Idol is such a huge, mega enterprise, it makes enormous amounts of money for Fox and Fremantle Media. I mean, it's just a huge, machine, money making machine. And so, the more they build up the tension, the more they keep viewers watching, the more money they're going to make and the more viewers they're going to get. Um, and so I think when it got down to that final six there, it kind of got a little boring because, there wasn't really a level playing field. And, I know they say that these things are not fixed, they're not rigged, but I've been, privy to some information of a lot of beauty contests. I mean, not necessarily it's the same on the same level as this, uh, but I know that beauty contests that I had inside information about, they were actually rigged. They put on a good show on the outside, and you thought the winner was actually the winner, but when you found out that the beauty contests were actually rigged, even though they said it wasn't. Um, and I'm not, accusing American Idol to be that's rigged, but you got to at least consider the possibility, given this what happened on season 10, that Pia got voted off when she did. is that um, I think to increase the dramatic tension in American Idol and keep the viewership up, that they had to vote Pia off. They had to get rid of her because once she was gone, the playing field became level again. And in those final few weeks there, when there were just five left, I think nobody really knew. I mean, the tension really started to build there because everybody was kind of on a level playing field, which really wasn't true before Pia was voted off. So you gotta at least give it some thought that maybe it was a little, you know, behind the scenes maneuvering there. Um, Now I'm gonna jump from Pia over to Haley Reinhart, but I will interject that I think anybody that knows, well, I shouldn't put words in other people's mouths, but I'm an acting instructor. I'm a casting director, producer, writer. So I've had a little bit of experience in this business. I'm not, you know, famous like some of the other people that are associated with American Idol, but at least I know a little bit about the business. If you want to look at the overall talent of the contestants, I mean, take everybody's package, so to speak, and who was the most talented overall. I think that finale should have been Pia Toscano and Haley Reinhart. Um, now, having said that, just talk about Haley for a moment. Um, I put a video up here, I don't know, quite a few weeks ago when I think it was down to the final 12. And Haley, I think for 4 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks, she always wound up in the bottom three. And I made a little video there, and I said, whoa, wait a minute here. This lady's quite a talented woman. She's not going anywhere too quick if this is a fair competition at all, because this lady has talent that people are just not even seeing yet. And so I went on record to of saying that. And kind of interesting that Jimmy how do you say his name? Jimmy Iovine, the mentor of the American Idols this season. Uh, I think the week excuse me, the week right before she got voted off, he went on camera saying, and I quote, "She's got it." Um, well, I'm not as famous as Jimmy Iovine, but I actually said that many weeks before he even said it. And I think over those final weeks before Haley got voted off, um, she really just, reached down there and just pulled it out and just really began to show, the American public just how talented she was. In fact, I made another little video about Haley, and I called her the comeback queen. Because she just, and I really have a lot of admiration for that. From somebody coming from where she was in the bottom 3 or 4 weeks in a row to come back to, where she was able to come back to. And so I really started kind of following Haley, and I saw that this lady could just pretty much do any kind of song. In fact, it was, she did more different types of songs than any of the other contestants. Even the final two there, Scotty and Lauren. I mean, Scotty was a country singer, and so was Lauren, and they sort of had their little niche. And but Haley Reinhart, she took on more types of songs and showed more balls and more risk taking, taking chances, where a lot of the others didn't. So you have to just give her a lot of credit for that. And and then it became obvious for whatever reason. I mean, you don't need a degree in psychology to kind of observe this. That for some reason, Jennifer Lopez just had it out for Haley. I don't know why. Um, Females are kind of weird. They get a jealousy thing going on. Not that Jennifer needs to be jealous. I mean, my God, she's famous enough for herself and a talented woman. But you could just see in her eyes, she just didn't like Haley for whatever reason. And then Randy came on board with that whole scenario, especially after Haley kind of stuck up for herself and stood her ground against Randy, and and I applaud her for that. I mean, she didn't cow down, and she spoke her mind. And from that point on, that was unfortunately kind of the beginning of the end of Haley Reinhart, at least on American Idol, because from that point on, you could just see how Jennifer and Randy, and I thought it was just so completely unprofessional. You could just see how they were manipulating, because they have a lot of pull and a lot of sort of manipulation um, uh, power, I guess you could say, of how the American people vote. Even though they say it's up to the American people voting on this show, but what they say has a lot of effect on the American people as they go to vote, I think. And uh, they were just so tough on her. They just got on her case and gave her more criticism than they did any of the other contestants. And I think when they were called on that, a couple of times, they always came back and said, "Oh, we were doing it for our own good, and we want to just, pressure her and make her really reach down there and pull it out what we know she's capable of." Well, I say bullshit. Um, I mean, that's a valid thing to do, but I think that they were doing it for the reasons to really, um, in effect, in their own kind of subtle, some subconscious way to sort of sway the American public to not vote for Haley, and because I don't think they wanted her to win. And uh, there was this one uh, song that Haley did there. I think it was the show right before she got voted off, and she had the wind machine blowing her hair and everything, and she just kicked ass on that song. I forget what the song was, but she was just really did a great job. And all that Randy could say and all that Jennifer could say, instead of complimenting her on her song, all they could say was, "Oh, how cool it was that the wind was blowing through your hair and everything like that." And I think, like I said, I think anybody who watched the show could see how um, hard they were on Haley. And if you really um, looked at Jennifer's face, like I said before, there was just something going on there. I don't know what it was, but just I think in those final 4 or 5 weeks that Haley um, was on the show, I think that Randy and Jennifer acted completely unprofessional in the way they treated Haley and the attitude towards her. It just wasn't right, and I think they were very unprofessional. And I think Jennifer Lopez voted the most beautiful face in America. I think at times she showed her ass. Another example of that is when after I think Haley was still, I think it was down to the final three, and when Ryan asked the three judges who won that round, um, uh, Jennifer made a comment once about Lauren. She says, "Oh, I don't even need to see anybody else. Lauren won the round." That was kind of a stupid comment, for a judge to make. I mean, she shouldn't make a comment like that. I just think with the people that were going to follow, I think it was Scotty and Haley that were going to follow, what it would make them feel like. So, you can have your own personal inner feelings as a judge, but if you're on there to judge the talent and how well they sing the song and how well they perform and their confidence on stage and their ease of performing and the way they move around stage, all that, well, then that's what you're supposed to do. Keep your own personal feelings to yourself. And then again, I think it was just Lauren and Scotty left, and Lauren sang a song about mothers or something. I think she dedicated to her mothers. I mean, she did a great job. And then once again, Jennifer came out and said a comment like, "Oh, I think you just won American Idol right there." Well, how do you think that made Scotty feel? I mean, that was just a bullshit comment to make. And you could sort of also see that Jennifer, that Lauren was kind of her favorite, that she was trying to, sway things in Lauren's favor. Um, so if I had a vote, and if you could do it, I would vote Jennifer Lopez and Randy Jackson off American Idol for next year's judges. I think they were totally unprofessional in the last 4 or 5 weeks of that show and the way they treated Haley Reinhart. So, in my eyes, between the judging of Randy and Haley, Randy and Jennifer Lopez, and the fact that one person can vote a gazillion times, just loses a lot of the credibility of American Idol, and I was very disappointed in those things. So, a few final comments I want to make on Haley Reinhart. I think, in my opinion, Haley should have won, hands down. When you look at the overall talent, the person who had the most range, that did more songs consistently well, and I'm not trying to take any away from Scotty and Lauren. They were both very, very talented singers. But when you look at the overall range that Haley had, and then on the finale show, where she sang the duet with Tony Bennett, I mean, she held her own with one of the greatest singers, legends, Tony Bennett of all time. I mean, she just held her own, and that was very impressive. It just showed that she can sing anything. She can do anything she wants to do. And then when she was voted off, and she did that final song of hers, Benny and the Jets, you could almost tell, her attitude, and she was kind of like saying, "In your face, American Idol." I know she had to be all nicey nice because she's continuing, being on the summer tour, I guess, and whatever. But you could just tell she was saying, "In your face." So, in conclusion, I think that Haley should have won that thing, and I think it was a manipulation on Randy Jackson and Jennifer Lopez's part. I think they were part of the reason that she wasn't voted as the American Idol. I think part of the reason too is the kind of audience that votes on the American Idol, the age range, and it's kind of like who has the largest group of fans that kind of go all gaga over whatever. I think Scotty had a very large following of young girls, and so I think the voting, the primary voting audience of American Idol is not really voting on talent, but who sort of just kind of pushes their buttons in sort of a charismatic sexual way, where these young teenage girls get all gaga over a certain guy, and so I think that's more has to do with who wins this thing than true talent, because I think it was really down to true talent that Pia and Lauren, Pia and Haley should have been in the finale, and the fact that Pia got voted off, that thing should have went to Haley Reinhart. So this is my final feelings about Haley Reinhart. As I said in my video a number of weeks ago, when everybody was ready to vote Haley off, this lady's going to go places. I mean, she really is. And a lot of the American Idol contestants in the past, as I kind of researched a little bit, a couple of them kind of went on to make really, really big names, for themselves, like Carrie Underwood and a couple others. But for the most part, the rest of them just had little, you see them a little bit here or there. But they just, kind of flashes in the pan. I don't think that's going to be the case with Haley Reinhart. I think she's too talented. And I kind of like her sassy attitude. And I think once Haley gets a little bit more experience, like life experience under her belt, because the kind of singer she is and some of the kind of songs she does, especially the bluesy, kind of Janis Joplin, painful blues kind of songs that she can do so well, that takes a lot of life experience to really, sing those to the fullest potential that one can sing them. And I think she does them so well already that once she gets a little bit older and has a little bit more life experience, and has her heart broken a few times, and has had some, just more, life slaps around a little bit and some more hard knocks. Um, not that I wish that for her, but that's just part of growing up and being mature. I think when she just, puts it all together, she's just going to be one phenomenal singer and entertainer. And because she's already, pretty much there already. So anyway, those are my final thoughts on American Idol for season 10. I hope that the powers to be do something about that absurd voting where one person can vote a gazillion times. And if in fact the whole Pia thing was fixed at all because they wanted to even the playing field to keep more viewers, watching, if that in fact is true, then shame on you. Shame on you. So hopefully next year I'll be a viewer again, and hopefully some of my feelings about American Idol will change, and we'll have another season with a lot of really talented singers like this past season. So that's it for the Roaring Lion, and stay tuned. I don't know what's coming up next, but stay tuned, and we'll surprise you.